What's up, AfterBuzzers? We've got Tara, Alexandria, and a quest for self-love coming up next.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey. This is our favorite part. What's happening, Javier? You can dance.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Tiffany Tony, and you are watching another episode of AfterBuzz TV for Revenge Body. This episode, and I'm just going to tell you, they jumped right into it with this title, The Single Mom and the Disappointing Daughter. To my left, I have my good friend and co-host, D-Ren.
Hi, everybody.
And we have Javier here today.
Hey, everybody.
You guys recognize him, don't ya? Don't ya? And Raven French.
Hello.
Hello. Maybe your last name should be Britt or something like that, since you always do that.
I'll change it.
All right, so today we are talking about Tara's journey, and then we're going to transition into Alexandria and her journey, and then we're going to talk about the quest to self-love and what that means to us, to you, and to you, Javier, because you actually went through this and you've experienced it, and I'm sure watching this for you, you know, you can share some enlightening information for us. So I want to start by talking about Tara. So her job, she was a bridal consultant, and as you guys heard, she had a lot of difficulty emotionally with her job, although she was passionate about it because her mother did pass away, and she's raising a child currently that her mother did not get the chance to meet. Also going through a custody battle. So I would like to hear you all's thoughts on, you know, her and what you made of her journey.
I was just... I was about to say, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. You know that saying?
Yeah.
That always the bridesmaid, always never bride. And the reason why I chuckled, because it's like, I thought about last week when... about the dancer who wanted to be a dancer, but she stayed on the sideline, and it just, I always wonder like how we manifest those type of things, and how we really want something, but we just go right next to it instead of taking the limelight and accepting it, you know.
I mean, do you think that it's maybe, you know, we don't think we deserve those things?
Absolutely. It comes from a place of not feeling enough, or coming from a place of self-lack, coming from the spirit of lack, and looking at what you don't have or what you are missing versus what you have and what you've already accomplished.
And when I think tonight's episode where it hit me, where I can really relate to it, both of them were dealing with like self-love issues. So they both felt, like D-Ran said, they weren't enough.
Yeah.
And you know, it's hard to really start your journey of fitness and working out, getting better when you don't believe in yourself. You know what I mean? And they weren't even that bad, you know, but inside they felt terrible.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so I can really relate to that. I know how that feels, and that's what kept me big so long. You know, I could have worked out time and time again, but I would get discouraged because I didn't have that self-love.
It does. If you don't have it internally, the best way to have it is have internal motivation. That's for everybody. But some of us don't have as much or enough to sustain us in the beginning. So starting with external motivation is always a great thing, and that's really what the show provided for us, is some external motivation, external self-worth, until we got to the place to get internal motivation and internal self-worth.
Now, she mentioned that she did come from a single-parent home, and I don't know how many of you can relate to that, or, you know, how do you feel that kind of plays a role in you building that self-love and self-worth? Do you think it has any effect at all, or is it more of...
It definitely has an effect, but it depends on the parenting. So I meet people who are, I wish my dad were this, I wish my dad were that, and had done this and had done that. I was raised with a stepfather up until about 13.
Wow.
But my mom is such a G that I didn't realize, when I hear other people, I'm like, that's how I realize how tough and good of a mom my mom was, because the feeling of lack didn't exist. Even though we didn't have anything, just the way that she raised us, the energy she raised us in, she didn't talk bad about my dad. She didn't do any of those things. Once I got an adult, she was like, that no good.
Now that you're old enough to decide for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So that didn't exist for me. When I see it in other people, I'm like, oh, wow, I see the difference in parenting styles.
Right.
You have children. Did you have help with your children?
So I had help because of my family support system.
Wow.
Their dad is in Chicago, which is my hometown. So, and we were married. The separation created something different where I'm like, who is this human?
Really?
Like, I did it. So that was tough, and I had to pull on my mom and, just smile through it and not let my kids know until they got old and I could say that.
Right. So what did you guys think about kind of her? I mean, it seemed like in the beginning she was extremely resistant to her trainer. Her trainer was, correct me if I'm wrong, where's she at? Autumn, yes. Mm-hmm. So her trainer was Autumn. Did you guys think that Autumn was a good fit for her? And why do you think she was somewhat resistant in the beginning?
Well, I think they were a real good fit because, she's a single mom and she was able to do it at home just like Autumn, designed her program. Mm-hmm. And I think for Autumn it was a growing experience also because at first you could kind of see that she really didn't know how to go about it. Mm-hmm. She kind of talked to Khloe, and then after that I could see her confidence went up, and then also Tara's confidence went up.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I mean, even just from my perspective as a person who used to be a personal trainer, it is very touchy when you're getting to know someone new as a client because each client is different, and you have to be sensitive to their needs. You have to figure out what pushes them, what motivates them, what makes them feel bad, what are triggers for them, and to try to make sure that you don't activate those triggers. And then if you do, it's definitely a challenge. It's not just showing up and putting together a workout.
Do 50 push-ups.
Right. It's different for each person. So I can relate to Autumn on that note.
I think she expressed the most, most, if not all, the participants felt at some time, which is just, I don't want to look bad. I don't know how you guys feel about
this. She was
bad on TV.
I ain't gonna lie. She said what everybody was thinking. Like, I don't know how this gonna play out, so I ain't about to say all that. We all have been there at one point in time. Yeah.
So Javier, when we talk a lot on this show about like trainer-client compatibility. From your experience, what were some of the things that, like, if you could pick any trainer, what were some of the most important things to make you feel comfortable and secure with, trusting somebody along this journey?
Well, I think they match me up perfectly with Leon.
Yes,
I do love a lot of the other trainers. I love Ashley's style. She's, very dynamic. She could come at, she could be real, very real, but at the same time she could be very empathetic. So I really appreciate that with her in the trial. I just think Luke is very, warm and caring. I appreciate that with him. I like Leon because, we really connected. Like we, as soon as day one, it's kind of like growing up, the way I grew up. Like a lot of times when you meet somebody, you're gonna have to fight. And that was day one. Day one I got there.
Knocked this thing
Day one we had a fight. You know what I mean? Like he's like, you want this? Sorry about that. You want this? Show me you want this. And I really appreciate that because it took me back to those days where I was like, you really sometimes you have to fight for it. If you really want it, you have to fight for it. And he has that passion, he has that style, and I fed off of that every day. Every day I walked in and I seen that he said he wasn't comfortable with how he looked. He wanted to do better for himself. He's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to push this up more. Well, not that he wasn't comfortable, but he just wanted more.
Of course.
Yeah, and I said, that pumped me up because I was like, look at him. Like he's yoked.
Right.
He's
right.
Whoa. Yeah, and he wants more. Like he's like, I need to tone down. I need to do this and I need to do that. So I was like, you never stop growing. You never stop progressing. And I said, I'm ready to go. I fed off of that every day.
Clearly, because you went in there like, if I go into a fight, I expect to win.
I was like, whoa.
If I would have gone in there, I'm like, I'm about to get my head knocked off. Like, oh my God.
I know you have to. I mean, that's the way. Anytime, that's what I'll tell everybody right now. Like, this is the biggest thing that I learned that I had to relearn. This is what I've always known, but I really didn't give myself this opportunity for a long time. Give yourself a chance, and that's the way I've always been. Give yourself a chance.
Absolutely.
And for a long time, I didn't. I said it's over for me. Like I'm done. This is gonna be me.
So did you relate to Tara's kind of negativity and resistance in the beginning?
Yeah, definitely.
Was it interesting to watch that from someone else?
It was because it's like I remember like. Oh, she didn't want to look in the mirror and stuff like that. Like that's how I was. Like she would look at herself like, oh, look at this. Like that's how I was. And my wife would even tell me, calm down. Like don't do something about it. Like don't be so harsh on yourself. And I wouldn't even be in any pictures. There's a chunk of years or it looks like Rosie's a single mom. My wife Rosie. I'm not in the pictures, eh?
A twist on single mom and disappointing daughter.
I was there the entire time, but I like
You're just
camera
a
comes out, like
photographer.
I'm out, yeah. Somebody has to take the pictures, especially when we go to Disneyland. They'll be like, we could take the picture, sure. Like, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's funny you say that, though. My mom actually, there was a few years of our lives where she was like, I don't want to be in the pictures, but she used it. It was motivation for her to lose weight and start, changing her diet and figuring out, what processed foods she was eating to stop eating them. So it's interesting how that can have an effect on people.
I was the same way for like too.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always been fabulous. Whatever way that no, I'm just playing. I'm just messing with y'all. I'm messing.
I think one thing that I liked that I'm not sure Autumn said it or Ashley. I think it was Autumn. What she said, look at that number, you'll never see it again.
I loved that too.
Yeah,
I thought that was powerful.
That's the way I look at it now. Like I'm taking pictures now because I'm still gonna get better, and I'm gonna look back.
You want to
like,
look back?
Huh?
You want to look
yeah,
back?
Yeah, I do.
I love that.
Can I ask a question though?
Yeah, definitely.
When you talked about like not looking at yourself in the mirror and all that stuff, which now as this is a recurring theme, a lot of us, because I was even the same way, right? So that was like, oh wow. But for some people, or you for instance, you were married, so you had someone that already looked at you for who you were and looked at you like you were beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Beautiful, handsome, and all these type of things. And so how did that not translate over into you feeling that same way?
Yeah, it did. Of course, I know my wife fell in love with me at a different. That's the way I looked at it before. She fell in love with me at a different time. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, I used to look better, and now she's kind of putting up with me, and she loves me. So I kind of had that, and she would even tell me, I love you. Like there's nothing wrong with you. And I would kind of get discouraged because my wife is a little smaller.
Yeah.
And there'd be times when she'd gain a little bit of weight. We'd start working out. 2 weeks into it, she's skinny already. Got cuts in the. I'm looking at myself and I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm cool. I don't want to work out anymore. So I get discouraged. You know what I mean? But she was always there, and she always let me know that she loved me. It was more like of a thing with me. I had to really learn how to fully love myself again. To appreciate the love that she provides me.
Oh, come on, brother.
That's amazing. How much weight did you lose at the end of yours?
56 pounds at the end of it.
Wow.
What are you at now?
Last time I checked, I was about 80 pounds now.
That's insane. I'm so happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, 12 weeks is not a lot of time, and Tara lost 40 pounds in that time. So, I mean, that's extreme.
Yeah.
That's extreme. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Did she? No, I'm lying. She lost 28 pounds. Alexandria lost 40. Yeah, that's almost 30 pounds. That's a lot of weight to lose in that amount of time. What did you guys think of her reveal? Of Tara's reveal in her little blue dress.
Like, the single ladies. The single ladies. She looks so adorable.
She did. Chad probably called her as soon as he saw it.
Yes.
Like, you know what, baby? I'm so sorry.
Maybe I was wrong.
I thought that was like real dedication because she moved hours away.
Yeah.
Like she set up shop somewhere. I'm like, girl, what job you got? That you can just go ahead and do that. First, let's ask that question. Right.
For
Second, how was you paying them bills? The third, no, I'm just playing. But she moved. That is the ultimate sign of like dedication. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm ready to make a change. Going the ultimate mile. That was really much so to anybody who say I can't because, right?
For sure.
There is no because. There is no because.
Did they both move? Because I know Alexandria did too.
Alexandria moved, I think, within
Ohio. She went back to Ohio.
So Ohio to LA, and then she just moved from north to.
Correct.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So before we move on, you guys, I just want to give a shout out to our viewers and fans and let you guys know how much we appreciate y'all. We want to thank y'all for making us the ESPN of Talk TV. That's kind of a big deal.
It is
I think it's kind of a big deal. And for us to continue to grow, we just need you to do one thing. All right? All we need you to do is if you're on YouTube right now, hit the like button, subscribe. If you are on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating, you guys. All thumbs up, all across the board. No matter what platform you're watching us on or listening to us on, we really, 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 really want your feedback. So feel free to comment, get involved in the conversation, okay? And more importantly, tell your friends about it so that we can all talk together. This means a lot to us being a part of AfterBuzz, and you're a part of AfterBuzz too. So don't leave us hanging, keeping all those juicy thoughts to yourself. We want to hear what you got to say. All right? So, I know you guys are dying to talk about Alexandria, so we're going to go ahead and talk about her. I thought she was so cute.
Me too.
And I couldn't believe she was 22. I mean, I thought she looked younger than that, to be honest. But
these two, their life what brought them to here.
I cried the first 60 seconds. I was crying.
I'm like, it's the intro, dear, and why are you crying?
I'm like, oh my God! It happened. I ain't even heard nothing yet. It was like, my name is, oh God! This is why. Yeah, it was, I mean, just to hear about the abortion at 14,
to have to go through that.
It's already traumatic to get pregnant. First of all, let me take a step back. It's already emotional turmoil to even be having sex at that age, right? To then take an even step further that you get pregnant. That's even more emotional turmoil. To then now you have to have an abortion, but not your choice. Somebody makes you have an abortion. Like, it was just like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, I can't lie. If I were a parent.
That's 8th grade.
Yeah, well, maybe 8th or 9th grade.
Yeah.
If I were a parent with a 14-year-old daughter and that happened, I don't know what I would do. I mean, I can see it from both sides. Like, I can understand why she would encourage her to have the abortion, but at the same time, I can understand how that would be also extremely traumatic for someone that age. So it's like,
and it sounds like it was no help after, as far as therapy. It could have been, but it just didn't. It didn't sound like there was anything. And a lot of times, you don't think it's available.
Yeah.
You don't, you know, it seems hard to get.
You don't know how to access it.
And then also, I find in communities of color, sometimes therapy is perceived as like a taboo. Can you relate to that, Javier? Like,
oh yeah, definitely. I went maybe 30 years without therapy when I should have went.
Yeah.
And even when I was trying to, since I was a kid, maybe about 4th, 5th grade, they tried to get counselors and therapists to see me. And I blew it off all the time.
Of course.
Well, a lot of it too is especially where I come from, it's viewed as snitching.
Yeah.
So I can't go tell my parents' business, and I can't go talk about you. So a lot of the times I kind of swept it under the rug. Oh, everything's great, everything's fantastic, But inside, I really did want to talk to somebody. There was a lot that I needed to let out, and I didn't seek therapy till I was about maybe 30 years old.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, because it's like I'm quite sure we all been told what happens in this house stays in this house.
Yeah.
Like, we've all
is
been
this
told.
Vegas?
Raven was like, I just said that yesterday. No, I do want to clarify. I don't blame her mom for making her do it. I guess I
just
saw
the fact that she went through it.
Yes, it was kind of like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I just wanted to wrap my arms around her and just be like, girls, okay, it is okay.
It's definitely a tough decision because as a parent, you'd want the best for your children, and she came to the point where she maybe thought that having a child at 14 wasn't the best thing for her.
Right.
So
I can relate to that too.
Yeah, because you know your kid the best. She knows her kid. A parent knows their child better than anybody else. So she knew what her child needed.
For sure.
They didn't even discuss the kind of ongoing. What that causes ongoing, like this would have been my child's birthday. This would have been because that for most people that I've heard from, that doesn't just
go away.
Yeah,
that's powerful. What did you guys think about Alexandria's attitude in terms of how she was receptive to the training and the changes?
She was very receptive to it. It was very funny when she was like halfway through it. She said, "I didn't have any self-worth," and Ashley was like, "I know."
She was like, I thought Ashley was perfect for her.
She was amazing. And then she was like, I think I'm over him. She like, so you know what you gotta do.
I know. She's like, we're going to end the session early.
She's right.
Call him
That's like somebody's mama who don't, you know how mamas don't be wanting to get in your business. They be like, so you know what you gotta do.
I know, like they make you think it was your own idea. Yes. Maybe it was. We don't know.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. She ain't playing no games. Yeah.
No, I thought it was great. She ended up losing around 40 pounds, which is a lot for that amount of time.
Her waistline was as tall as her.
Yeah.
As she was.
When you break that down, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You don't even think about it like that.
No, at all. It's like, wow, that's crazy.
No.
That show you that I will say that workout is proven because she used it to have somebody gain weight with Eddie, who was on the show, and she had it to have somebody lose weight with Alexandria. So her workout is a very all-around encompassing workout.
I love her. I think she's really just so intuitive and in touch with people, and she's able to kind of like unlock emotional barriers that people may not have even realized they had, and I think that's really healthy and monumental in training. I mean, I know for me, there have been stages of my life where I haven't necessarily felt my best, and fitness has been my therapy, but only with trainers and fitness instructors who I feel like can unlock that emotional barrier for me, because otherwise I'm not going to come back.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you feel about that, Javier?
You know, it's crazy because I talked to her a few times, and I was a fan. Before I was on the show, the reason I got on the show is because I'm a fan.
Of Ashley?
No, of the show. Yeah, of Ashley too, yeah. But Ashley and Latrell were always my favorite. So I was like, oh yeah, they're real. So when I got to see them first, I was like, oh, bigger than life, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I've always like loved her, the way she does it. You know what I mean? She's like you said, she has a range of how she deals with people. It's not just one size fits all. Like
right.
Like you could see, like you said, with Eddie, she had to handle it one way. With her, she had to handle it another way. With past participants, she did it. You know, everybody she sees what they need.
Absolutely.
She meets them where they are.
Yeah.
Question, because you guys have been on the show, and I know you have to probably do some type of questionnaire. Do they ask if you've watched the show, and do they ask if you have a preference of?
Do you remember that? That questionnaire was so long.
Yeah, I don't remember if they asked that. They did ask me if when I went to the initial interview, they asked me if I watched the show. And I said, yeah, I'm a fan of the show.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
See, yeah, that questionnaire was so long. After a while, I probably was just saying, daddy issues, daddy issues, daddy.
Just put C on every question.
I think they try to catch me slipping too, because they're like, oh yeah, well, who's your favorite then? Who's your favorite participant? But I already had. I was like, oh, Rocco.
Tricky.
You know what I mean?
Got you. See, I've never seen it before. I never seen it before I got on the show. Hence why I was truly shocked.
That's why you thought it was mimosas and partying.
You guys, the part that tripped me out the most about Alexandria's journey was the fact that her man not only cheated on her, told her about it, but then told her the chick looked like Kylie Jenner. Like, why? Are you trying to kill this woman? Like, why would you say that to her?
I think maybe he seemed very immature, and I think he tried to, maybe she asked.
Well, they're 22. We gotta keep context there. They are 22.
Yeah, you know when like a lot of times people ask, well, how was it? What was this? How did she look? Was she at least? And then he probably let it out.
So it wasn't like, hey, I cheated on you, and she looked like Kylie Jenner.
That's what I think.
Do you want to see her?
The way it came out, I kind of like, dang, he just said like, I cheated on you, baby, and she looked like Kylie Jenner.
And Khloe,
wing, wing, wing.
Khloe, you know you could have laughed at that or something. You know you wanted a reaction. I wanted a reaction.
Like, that's her little sister. She's probably like, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was just like, that's her little sister. She probably was like, what? Like.
I needed something. I don't know what. I needed a cut to the staff in the back or something. And then back there, I just needed something.
So like
awkward. Act like we didn't hear that guy.
I think we were all like, oh.
Yes, that she said. And the fact that she repeated it. It was like, oh, okay.
Because she thought the same thing we thought. Like, you heard what I said, Khloe. Where your sister at? Where was she on such and such a date at such and such time?
Let me verify. Let me verify.
What was the reason?
The fact that when she got on the phone with him, though, and she brought it up to him, and he was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, fight for me, fool. Fight for me.
That's what I was thinking. Like, you're not gonna like fight for her, but she did. Also, we have to remember. She said she convinced him to take her back.
So he probably was just hanging around out of whatever emotions, maybe guilt. We don't know. So yeah.
So I'm glad that she was able to do that though, because I'm not one to judge anyone, and if they could have worked it out, cool. But I don't think that she was at that space where she was going to be able to work it out. You know, I mean, she was, like she said, she was always reminded of that. So that's not, you know, it wasn't healthy for her to pursue that relationship. So I'm glad that he didn't fight it for her own sake.
That's a good point. You know, I'm just being selfish and egotistical. Moving on.
I wish she would have fought for me. Craig, why didn't you fight for Who's Craig?
They're like, it's not you. Oh, sorry, I'm projecting. Anyways, so we're going to move on to a very appropriate topic of self-love, which I think this is a good time for.
Yes.
I digress.
So, Javier, I want to start with you on this because, of course, you are the most recent person that was on the show. How do you feel that your quest for self-love was improved throughout this journey?
You know, they don't air a lot of what you see, or they don't air a lot of what happens, you know, when they film. And one thing that I said in my final interview is I said, looking back, I could see that my dad was always proud of me. It was my own projection. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of, you know, I couldn't look in the mirror. I didn't see the same guy that I saw. I mean, growing up, I had a huge ego. Like, I was like, oh, I'm the shit. Yeah, hell yeah, I can do anything I want.
Yes,
you know what I mean? And afterwards, like, I lost that. You know what I mean? And when my dad was battling his own issues, you know, as you guys know, he passed away, and he cirrhosis of the liver, so he was drinking a lot. So
Which I don't think everybody knows that. So just take a moment to acknowledge that part, that your dad has passed away.
Yeah, he passed away 3 months after the show.
Gosh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think that him drinking and him distancing himself, because I think he was kind of ashamed that he was drinking again. He didn't want me to see that, but I kind of took it as like, oh, I'm not enough to come around anymore. You know what I mean? So it was that was we were both battling different things.
Your own things, yeah.
And by the time the show aired, he said what he had to say to me, and I kind of understood at the end, like, this was me. This wasn't he was never the one that wasn't proud. I was the one that wasn't proud of myself.
I'm so glad you got a chance to
thank you.
have that conversation with him.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you for that. Yeah, because I'm super close to my dad, so I can only imagine, that's heavy.
And that piggybacks off last week. Mike was here, and one of the things that he had said was, as adults, we have to forgive our parents.
Absolutely.
And change our respect. So that was definitely.
It's funny, as you get
Parents
older,
are people too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you just see
Parents
them
are
as your
people too.
equals as you get older, and it's nice to be able to connect with them that way. So, D-Ran, you have something special for us, don't you?
Oh my God! Don't you wish
special?
Okay, so this used to be called the top 3, but we're calling it D-Ran's Life Tip.
Can we get a sound? D-Ran sound?
Producer?
Oh, okay.
Better late than never. Okay, so the top 3 for D-Ran's Life Tips. You can find on DRanAnderson.com. It's 5 altogether, but the top 3 for essential tips for developing a better you. All right, tip number 1. This is how you develop a better you. Is remember today, not someday. Start the transformative experience today. A lot of people wait for tomorrow. You ever heard that wine? The wine is tomorrow. There will always be tomorrow. You always want to start today.
That's not true. It won't always be tomorrow.
Exactly.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Thank you. We didn't know. But yes, so you have to start today. Wherever you are, no matter if it's 11 o'clock at night. As we saw on the show tonight, she was working out at 11 o'clock at night, right? If it's 1 in the morning, you're like, you know what? I need to actually start working out. You get up at 1 a.m. and you go to 24-hour fitness or whatever is there, right? And you go do it. You start immediately so you can captivate on the momentum. So today, not someday. That's number 1, or that's number 3. Number 2 is expect to accomplish something. This is the thing that I found that's very hard, that it was become a theme throughout the show with us as the cast members, as well as other people, is that when they start on a personal development journey, regardless if that's physical, mental, or emotional, they start, but they don't expect to finish, or they don't expect to reach the goal realistically in their mind. They're like, "Ooh, I would like to be that," but when they close their eyes, they can't see themselves as being thinner, or they can't see themselves as having a family, or they can't see themselves being married, or whatever that is. Is you have to start it, and then you have to expect that you're going to finish and accomplish what you're going to accomplish. So that's number 2. And then number 1 is learn from the mistakes of others. That is the number 1 thing that's going to help you with personal development, to where you don't have to keep hitting your head against the wall. If somebody's telling you something, sorry, one of the biggest things that I had to tell somebody the other day is don't give so much pushback. I did, but what about, and except, don't nobody care about all your excuses. Just don't know. I can't stand talking to people that got a bunch of pushback to.
That's why the dude bothered me. Sean, was that his name? That's why he bothered me.
Okay, yeah, all the
I
pushback.
understand.
Yeah. And so that would be the thing that I would tell people is just listen, take in whatever nugget that you need to take in for advice. You don't have to take the whole thing in, but just listen and learn from other people's mistakes. So many people have a hard time just listening, or just learning from somebody else. That they think that they just know the right way, or your way was different because they done been there, done that, and got a T-shirt, and they don't want you to get it.
Right.
So those are the top 3 tips, life tips for becoming a better you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom used to say to me, Raven, why you gotta go around the block to get across the street?
Oh my gosh.
That was when I was younger, y'all, but it makes me think of number 1.
That's
Learn
so
from
real.
other people.
My dad had a couple catchy phrases too, but I'll let you have your moment to discussion.
My auntie said, go around the block to across the street. Yeah, go the long way.
It's so true.
When somebody can literally just say, just cross the street right here, and they don't do it.
You end up in the same place after you did all of that.
30 years later.
Especially if you're looking for help. You know what I mean? So it's like with us, we all wanted to go on the show. So one thing I always kept in mind is there's a reason Leon looks like Leon. There's a reason I look like me. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
it's like he knows what he's doing. So it's best if I just shut my mouth and listen.
But everybody they look at their lack. They come from there's a reason why they have what you don't. There is a reason why. There's a paradigm shift there somewhere. But so many people always try to find the differences of why you did that. Because and what you're really doing is moving out of the space of being a victim. I can't accomplish that because or my situation is different because, right? And it's like no it's not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Raven,
Yes.
you have some news for us, don't you?
AfterBuzz TV News.
Oh my gosh, Raven.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
Javi,
Yes.
thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
Yes, you're going to be our news and gossip today.
Oh,
So, word on the street is you are writing a book.
Yeah, I just finished writing a book last week. And,
Whoa.
Yeah, I've been working on it for the last 3 years. And it's my life story, you know what I mean, from almost the beginning to where I am now. So it's just a journey that I've been through, and there's a lot of crazy things that have happened, a lot of interesting stories in there. So it's about 20 chapters right now. Of course, I'm trying to get it to a publisher. We'll see how that goes, and if they enjoy it, might expand. You never know. They might want to know something else. You know what I mean? So I'm willing to work on that. So, but yeah, I've been working on it for the last 3 years and finally finished.
And are you only wanting to have it published, or will you self-publish?
Yeah, I'll go any route that would be best for me at the time. So
Got it.
If I can find a publisher and they like what I have to bring, and I'm not gonna have to compromise the integrity of the book, then I'll go that route. If I'm not able to find anyone or any agents or anything that will take a chance on it, then I'll do it myself. You know what I mean?
Good for you.
Yeah.
Come on.
And it's gone through like the editing process already?
Yeah, my brother, he's a literature major. So.
Oh, wow.
Now, what's your
I
brother?
know. I'm like, can we get his name, number, Instagram, email?
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
So
brother.
Twitter number.
Black Planet
Yeah,
account?
so he helped me with it a lot. you know.
Nice.
So it's really good because he knows exactly what I've been through.
So you can fact check it.
And not only that,
He's
but
like,
he
you
told me
lied in paragraph 3.
No, he's like, he'll just be like, I know there's more emotion behind this. Like,
He can
let me
push
know.
you. That's
You know what I mean?
awesome.
So and there was a chapter that was very, very sensitive and about my daughters. And he told me like it seems like they're two different people that don't know each other. You know what I mean? Like,
Got you.
like let's go ahead and I know you can do better. Write about the connection between them. And it was very emotional. I went back. I rewrote it, and he told me after like it's probably one of the best chapters that you've written.
That's beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah, so-
There is a title or no title or
No
working
title. Yeah. I originally when I planned it years ago, my wife and I came up with the cutting class to get an education. But we'll see. We'll see. Like
That's cute. It is cute.
yeah, because like you said, I took the long route. Yeah.
I
so-
went around a couple blocks.
Yeah.
Well, we all ended up here.
But we'll see. You know, I mean, I'm willing to like that's stuff. I'm not married to any title right now. You know what I mean? So I'm willing to work on that and
Is it going to be a
Alright.
movie eventually?
Can I have the rights?
Yes.
Let me get the book. Let me read a sample manuscript
definitely.
situation. Oh,
That is
thank
amazing.
you.
Yeah,
So, publishers, agents, writing agents, literature agents, where you at? We will be tagging you, okay?
Ta-da! What is one of the biggest takeaways that you think from the book so far at the stage that it's at? What do you think? Are you hoping?
I think
one of
it's
the biggest takeaways?
perseverance, and because I've had many transformations in my life. With the health one being the final, not the final, but like the latest transformation. But throughout my life, I've had to wear many hats, and I've always had to rise to the occasion.
Okay.
You know, I mean, there's been times where it took longer than others, but there was times where because I started. It's crazy. I started off in the book as a scared child. You know what I mean? That's how it starts off. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what's going on, and I eventually become this crazy teenager that thinks he knows everything and behind the cell. You know what I mean? In lockup where I lost my grandmother. You know what I mean? 2 weeks before I was supposed to get out. And that was my fault. Like I got involved in riots. I got involved in fights. Just attacks, group attacks, and
So you could have been out sooner.
I could have been a lot sooner. I was only supposed to do a year.
How much did you end up doing?
4.
Holy
4
cow.
years.
Oh,
And
can't
you
wait
go
to
into
read this
book.
so do you go into detail in the book about that experience and everything else?
I didn't want to keep it too jail based, but there's about 2 chapters about jail and yeah, I go into a lot of like the mental health, you know, because you're in like, especially I was in there as a juvenile, so from 16 to 20.
Oh my gosh,
And,
those are really profound years of your life.
You see things that you shouldn't be seeing. Like I had to, looking back, I think to myself, these are children. We were children, and they had, you know, kids cutting themselves, kids getting raped. One thing I write about is a guy that he blocked his window when we were in lockup. He blocked his window so they wouldn't see with feces. He smeared it all across the window, put a paper on there, like, come get me. And like, 'cause you lose your mind, 23 and 1, you know what I mean? Like you go crazy in there.
Of course.
And as a child, you know, I think to like, that's one of the times where I really thought to myself, I don't think he belongs here with us. You know what I mean? Like he needs additional help. Like some of us, we need help too, but we're a little bit more hardened. We're, you know what I mean? We're like a little bit more functional. This guy really needs help. Even people are like, he's just faking it. Like, you don't fake smearing feces on yourself and on the window. Like, this guy, he really needs help.
So you thought that was more like a mental fit, that was like more mental health.
Yeah, because even if you're faking like that, like, I just want to get out of here, like, that's desperation. You're resorting to some very desperate tactics to get out of there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you do any work within the system? Volunteer work or anything like that?
I want to, but I'm not sure if my record will prevent that. But eventually,
which is such a catch-22. I mean, I think
you'd be the perfect person.
Right.
Yeah, but eventually, I do want to do some kind of outreach to help youth. And
well, once I help get you famous from this book, I'm sure they'll be calling.
I hope so. Yeah.
Leave it to Miss.
And I'll give you something. I told you before. I'll help you out as much as I can.
That's so great. That is great.
Thank you so much for being so vulnerable and open with your story. It'll help so many people.
Oh, thank you. That's one thing I learned in therapy. Like I have to. Like, if I want to grow, I have to be honest with myself. I have to be honest with the people around me. And even like, I work in a bank setting, so a lot of the times at my previous job, I never let anyone know that I was in jail or anything like that. Now I'm pretty open about it. I say, hey, this is who I am. You know what I mean? Like,
right, you own it.
Yeah. Like, I've grown from that. Obviously, you can see that's not me anymore. You know what I mean? But this is the journey that I've taken. You know what I mean? And this is part of the package.
Another question. So how long have you been at your current job? Did they see this physical transformation?
They did. Yeah, they did.
What did they say?
It's crazy. I broke my hand, so I went on leave. And when I went back, I think they thought,
as a result of the broken hand,
you did it to show that you wanted to just do the show.
No, I think they thought that I was gone because
of your hand.
Yeah, because they don't really follow me on social media or anything like that. So I think they thought that I was gone to do the show. And I came back, they're like, you look amazing. And I was like, oh yeah, like that happened in December, you know what I mean? Like,
that's great.
Yeah, a lot of them, they weren't aware of what I've been through, because I work, I just get there, I try to do what I have to do to take care of the little clients. And they were just like, wow, we had no idea.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
The takeaway, guys, and Javier, you handle yourself well and just with poise and kindness, is be kind to people, because just in passing at the bank, you don't know what someone else's life, what's happening to them in that moment. So,
Javier, how can people find you on social media?
Instagram at Incredible Javier.
Incredible Javier. You guys, this has been an amazing journey. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope that you guys did too. We're gonna go ahead and end this episode. I know you're sad, because we are. You can find me on Instagram and all social media platforms at Tiffany_Tony_TV. D-Ran, how can they find you, love?
You can find me on all social media platforms under D-Ran Anderson. That's DEERAN Anderson, or DRanAnderson.com, where I have more blogs like D-Ran's Life Tips.
Oh, the life tips. You can find me here at AfterBuzz at 3 o'clock doing the after show for Black Love, and it's so good. You can also find me on all social media, Raven, RAIVEN, French. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Javier. Tell them one more time where they can find you. One more time.
Instagram at Incredible Javier, and it was a pleasure to be here. Thank you guys for having me on.
Of course. Yes. All right, AfterBuzzers. We'll see you next time. Until then, buzz you later.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.